Alright, so just give you some background, basically. So you guys are going to be 8th grade students learning about U.S. history from Reconstruction to the present. So today we're going to be doing the Transcontinental Railroad. So we've actually just been discussing the Civil War, and so now we're going to be moving into what else has been going on during the Civil War. Alright, so guys, you've just walked into class, and what I have to do at the beginning of each class is they do what's called a KLR, a Know, Learn, Reflect. And essentially what you're going to do is make sure, follow the question on the Know section, answer the questions of what you already know about the Transcontinental Railroad, and then give me like a few questions if you don't know much about it. I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and I will ask you about that. Alrighty, so basically I would have given a few more minutes for them to do it at the beginning of class, but for sake of time, we'll stop there. Alright, so what do we know about the Transcontinental Railroad? What were some of the things that we've already talked about, or might have already known? Yes, Teresa.
Built to provide transportation across the country.
Alright, good. So it's transportation across the country. Good, what else? Elise.
It helped lead to the creation of lots of new states.
All right, good. So new states. What were some of these new states? Like, how did that lead to creation of new states?
Well, if you can get people out to the railroad faster and cheaper, or out to the west faster and cheaper than you could before, more people are likely to go there for new opportunities.
Okay, so it could be a lot of people are coming because it's a lot faster. Or how would they would have gotten there beforehand? How well do you think they would have gotten out west without a railroad system? How do you think?
Horses.
Horses, yeah, you could have horses or wagons. So before you had horses or wagons. What else? Anything else?
Walking.
Oh, well, you could walk. Yes, some people could walk alongside. So that would take a while. What?
Boats.
Boats, all right, yeah, so boats, sometimes they would go all the way around, actually, for boats. That would take a long time and actually be very expensive. So a lot of people wouldn't be able to afford that. So now we might be able to see with the railroad might be a lot more likely to reach there. Anything else? No? Oh, Teresa?
It provided a lot of jobs.
All right, jobs, good. How would it provide jobs?
Well, they needed a lot of road workers to build the railroad.
Yes, you need a lot of workers. So you need a lot of workers. Maybe what are different types of jobs you would see there? What are some different types of jobs, Lisa? Elise. Sorry, Elise.
Do you have a student named Lisa?
You'd have to, one job would be creating passages through things like mountains and other.
All right, okay, so you would need passages, but what specifically, what are some of the different jobs, specifically jobs? Like, how do you have to build an actual railroad? Yes?
Oh, I was going to say conductor of the train.
All right, yeah, so you have conductor. Good. Conductors would be one of those that are different jobs. The more railroads you have, the more trains you have, the more conductors you're going to need. Also, remember, during what type of time period are we at right now? So the Civil War would have been during what specifically, we've talked about this, helps lead up to the world, lead up to the Civil War. You get a lot of factories. What's the name that we use for that?
Industrial Revolution.
Yes, good. So all this is part of, it's actually towards the end of the Industrial Revolution. So the Industrial Revolution we're going to see is you're going to have now with more trains, you're going to need to build a lot of those, build a lot of the track. You're going to see a lot more jobs arising. And we're going to see a lot of people coming to the United States for those jobs, which we'll talk about later in this unit in relation to post-Civil War. But the Transcontinental Railroad is actually built during the railroad. So if you guys could take out your notebooks, please, and you could just write on your notes. So basically, Transcontinental Railroad began in July of 1862, which was during what war?
Civil War.
Yes, good, the Civil War. So it was built during the Civil War. And it was built by two major railroad companies. Those railroad companies were the Central Pacific and the Union Pacific. So the Central Pacific was moving from California out towards the east, Union Pacific from the, to the west. Good, all right. You also, what you're going to get, and this is the exciting part, is what inspired people to really get it, is that they would give you $48,000 per mile that they built for this. So basically they would give you $48,000, the government gave the companies $48,000 per mile that they built. So it's like a $48,000 reward. So basically you want to build that track as fast as possible. All right, so what we're going to, yes?
How did the government pay for that?
The government taxes. Your wonderful tax dollars, yes. All right, so, but moving on, for the sake of time, basically I would have wrapped up a little bit more questions and about all that. But, so what we're going to do is move into an activity with this. So what we're going to do is to show just how these companies were racing each other. What we're going to do is we're going to build our own railroad track. We're going to split into two separate teams. We're going to have the Central Pacific. I want Teresa and Tim. You're going to be in the Central Pacific. So you're going to be building from California towards Iowa. And then we're going to have Maddie and Elise. You are going to be on the east, and you're going to move as the Union Pacific. So I will give you basically your rules. What you have to do is you got to take two ties, two of these long pieces, or two ties. And what you're going to simply do is then, sorry, those are rails. You take your ties, actually, the smaller pieces, and lay three ties per railroad. That is one railroad track. Basically, we're going to go from one side of the room to the other. Now, for sake, it may not actually reach. We don't have enough paper. But basically, it's going to see who can build the most track wins. Got it? Yes. So, all right.
Exactly.
Here's some rails.
We can't work together, we just broke up.
Here's some ties.
The only problem is we don't get one paper.
Here's some rails. Here's some ties. All right. So here are
These are our ties.
Here are the rules, though. So what's going to happen is I did not give you nearly enough. I did not give you them all. As soon as you have used up all your rails or ties, and you need another part, and you can't use anything else to build more rail, then you got to come see me, and I'll give you more.
Okay.
So, all right.
Should we go to one? Does it matter where we go?
So you guys can go on that side.
Okay.
You guys go on that side. Hey, I didn't say go yet. Wait till I say go, guys.
Yeah, Tim.
Hey. So to be fair, all right. So on my mark, get set, go. All right, who's gonna win?
They have to be touching.
Yes, they have to be touching.
Yeah,
That's
Tim,
what
that's
the
how
rails down.
railroads work. We need more ties. Get some more rails
And
too.
some rails.
You got them.
What? Oh, rails.
They're mixed now. Makes it a little bit more difficult. Well, if you still have ties, you can still build.
Oh, my fingers.
They have to be touching on them.
They have to
Only
be touching.
three.
Come on, that's how
Only
railroads
three
work.
They are
rail.
touching.
They are three. They're ours.
I need more.
They're not touching.
You have to build a proper railroad. An improper railroad doesn't count.
Just space it out a little more.
Your rails can't be on top of each other.
What? Yeah, you gotta space it out more.
Your ties have to be on the rails, but the rails can't be on top of the other rails.
Oh wait, hold on.
Then yeah. Oh.
Wait, we need more. We can't put any more. They're not numbered. Wait, I only got two.
Do you have any more tails? Or
No,
I need ties.
Here's one.
Ties. were touching, but they're not allowing it, so it's not.
Sorry, they didn't really want to get it.
All right, who's gonna build more? It's a close race.
I need more ties.
Please.
Any more rails?
More ties.
Oh, that's it. I don't have any more.
So what do we do? Should we make,
Yeah, you're done.
okay, so we won.
No. Let's
What?
see who
If
ends
you
up
make
building
more.
more. So we have a lot more rails.
What do you mean by
They ran
more?
out of ties. All right. So basically, all right. Let's see who won. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. On the other side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
What?
All right. So you guys won.
But
You
they
built
got,
the longer
they got
rail.
more stuff.
I'm
Yeah, 'cause we
sorry.
built faster.
That's the way it works.
So these fingers.
That's the way it works between. So that basically you'd have the two railroad companies who would be trying their best to be able to
So many more.
to work the best to be able to be the fastest one working to build a railroad so they make more money. Alright, so what did you see from that experience though? What is different things that you realized from building that railroad? Yes?
I had to rely on Timmy's rails to put the ties down.
Yeah, so you had to depend on the rails, so you had to depend on more of the other workers. Good, what else? What, did you come up with a system at all, Elise?
Oh, well, not the system part, but if you did one thing wrong, and it would mess up everything else, like, you have to be really careful the first time.
Yeah, so they'd have a chain reaction. So building the Transcontinental Railroad, they would have to have making sure that they built it properly, and yet the government is overseeing in the process of it. Yes? Tim?
Like it was like almost like an assembly line.
Good! So it was an assembly line, because what we're going to see with the Transcontinental Railroad is that as one builds a lot slower. The Central Pacific built a lot slower coming from California because they had to go through the Rocky Mountains, but they end up building up an assembly line. They actually go a lot faster at the end than the Union Pacific. Good. All right. So basically, on May 10th, 1869, the Transcontinental Railroad was completed. All right. So what I want you guys to do, though, is I'm going to now split you back into groups, my Central Pacific and my Union Pacific. So my Central Pacific people, can you come over here? And basically what I'm going to have you do is you can read that article together. You can read that article together. And then what I simply want you to do is you're going to take the episode table for it, and I want each of you to, and while reading and discussing it together, answer the questions on it and draw pictures in the episode table based on the history of building the Transcontinental Railroad. What were some of the different benefits you saw from it? What different situations they had to face, difficulties, etc. So go ahead and you can start working on that. Good reading strategy.
That was good there. Oh, we have to answer this. Wait, we're supposed to draw pictures.
Yes. Yeah, so draw pictures of it.
I got it.
So obviously, excuse me. So obviously, for this assignment, you would get like a good 20 decent minutes to really work through it, get good pictures. But I know because you guys are quite capable and awesome and got great degrees, so you'll be able to do it in a few minutes.
My degree's not in art though.
Well, I'm not very good at
We
art
know
either.
that.
My students know that too.
I think my wagon's not bad, but then my horse kind of takes it for the worst. Alright, we got that. What? How you doing assembly line? Oh, good, symbols like that. Like, oh, you can build a van.
So also what you can do is on the bottom, you can also describe, I want you to describe exactly what's going on in your picture too. So guys, on the bottom of it, make sure you describe also what exactly is going on in your picture. So the picture's one thing to remember it by, but then also you put words to your picture too. So that's another thing that you can help with it. So on the bottom with the numbers, yeah.
Oh, Crème Mobilier, I remember that.
So you're gonna, if you look towards the end, you're gonna notice a lot more where's coming with corruption. Where near the end, there's 2 pages to it.
Oh.
Where near the end, corruption. So what is corruption? Do you remember what corruption is? What's corruption?
Falling apart.
Yeah, so falling apart. How would it be like falling apart?
Like giving certain people money that didn't do anything.
Yeah, so basically giving people boots, kind of like almost like stealing.
Yeah,
giving people
bribery.
boots.
Bribery.
Bribery.
Yeah, right there.
What's graft mean?
What's what?
Oh, that says corruption.
Check answer.
It's like-
What does graft and check cancel? Straight up.
Answer.
It's a fancy way for like thievery,
Okay.
corruption and stuff.
We learned that there's a D in that.
So how does that? Yeah, good, President Congress. So how does a bunch of the money, how does that represent, how does a bunch of
Oh, I
the money
didn't know what
represent
saying.
There you
the
go.
corruption? So like
Found in
specifically, like what's the
basically
corruption?
things like, wait, I actually don't have a picture for it, but draw like, I don't know how to do this, but like.
All right, just take a few more minutes on that. Just take a few more minutes.
And then arrow to like a hammer. So you know, it's with the hammer. And then you put that. Money went from the railroad.
Not
Like
good at your
construction.
drawings. Don't worry. It's good practice.
I have one good one. That's on you.
Okay, James got some inch. Oh, that's not bad. Some little thing. What did you say? Yeah. People are good.
Having trouble finding the last one.
Transportation of goods and people.
Oh, okay. Got it?
Got this.
Yeah. You guys are brilliant.
Just like the sun.
Like that.
All right, just take a minute just to finish up whatever you're doing. Because I know you guys can do it much faster than 8th graders. Alrighty, so from the reading, what'd you find out? So like, how did people get across the United States before the railroad? We talked about this earlier, so you saw it again. How did they see how people transport across the United States before the railroad was made? Anyone? Teresa?
Wagons and horses and boats and.
Yeah,
It's
so
a railroad
wagons, horses,
time.
boats. Specifically, what did this article tell you? It was, okay, stagecoach, good, stagecoach. So, stagecoach was very similar to a wagon, though. It's kind of like a type of wagon. It's kind of like a taxi with horses almost that went a far distance. So, really expensive taxi. We all know what a taxi is, right? Yeah, good. All right. So basically, if you have a railroad, it's going to make it much more easier to do what? It's going to be much more easier to, how's it going to benefit the United States? To travel. It's going to be a lot easier to travel, and it's going to help the United States do specifically what the article tell you? What did the article tell you what was gonna travel? It's your last question. It's my last question.
People and goods.
Tim.
People and goods.
Yeah, people and goods, and so we'll have a lot of goods. So the Industrial Revolution makes a lot of commerce and goods. A lot of goods, a lot of those products. So now we're going to see a lot of that connection between the East and the West, spurred on by the Industrial Revolution. So how do you think this is going to change the United States again? How do you think it's going to change the United States? Elise?
All the economy's gonna get bigger.
Yeah, so your economy's going to be bigger, things are going to be produced more. What else? What else do you know? What do you know about the West right now? What happens out West? What happens out West? I think you said it, Elise. What you said? Yeah, but it's going to relate to the cowboys, because the cowboys do a lot of ranching. And they raise cows! So they raise a lot of cows, good. So it's all cycling together, because I'm going to skip the map. We would have done that previously. But because you're going to have a lot of cattle in the West. So the cattle, so you have the cowboys, it's the golden age, was right around this time. And the railroad is really going to spur it on, because you can raise your cattle, and explain basically raising the cattle. You're going to eventually sell them to the railroad for a really decent price. And so then you're going to see a bunch of ranches, not ranches, you're going to see a bunch of cattle drives happening with cowboys and etc. But, alright, let me think about this though. So now you have all these cowboys who are driving their cows to the railroads. They're going through going a far distance to the land to sell their cows. So they're going to have to go over a lot of land. Well, as you're the railroad, you're going to get more and more who coming to the West? People. So you're going to have people who are going to come west, and they're going to create towns, and they're going to grow crops. And so they're going to make a lot of farms, right? So we're going to see a lot of farms are in the West. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to get a lot of people complaining that these cows are marching right through their grass. Isn't that awful? You'd be a little bit upset if all of a sudden you grew your corn, or you're raising some other animals, and all of a sudden your cowboys are coming along saying, hey, come, let's go through here. And you're like, wait a minute, this is my land. That's kind of not right. Something wrong with that? A little bit? So basically what you're going to see is there's going to be a lot of ranches rising up around this time. And so you're going to have a lot of sheep coming, and what's going to end up happening is barbed wire actually gets invented around this time. So you're going to see a lot of barbed wire. So you're going to have ranches and set farms developing, and so the cowboys are going to die off. You're not going to see many more cowboys. Sorry. Alright, so basically though, that's really how America is going to be changed. Alright, so everybody, so in general, so now, I know that was a real fast lesson, but finish up with what you learned in your Learn section. Take a few minutes to fill in the Learn section on your KLR. You can go ahead to your seat, back to where your KLR is. No, Elise, don't do that. Don't make me take it away from you.
It's good.
And basically, so finish up in your Learn section, then after you learn, think about how it would be, what are some of the effects of the transcontinental railroad. We talked about quite a few of them. So just take a few minutes to do that. Alright, so after you took that few minutes to do that, what are some of the different things? So again, just to go over again, what was the general worldwide effect of this transcontinental railroad? What was the whole effect when you think about this transcontinental railroad? How did it change the United States? I know I rushed you guys real on that. Obviously, I'm going to give you more time to do it. Yeah, so it would have gotten a lot bigger. Good. So it would have gotten a lot bigger, more people populated in different areas of the United States. and also because of different areas, we're also going to be able to transport a lot of what? Goods. And so America is going to become a lot more big, but also a lot smaller, and everybody's going to feel connected. And so as we go on, we're going to keep on seeing that connection between states and etc. Good. All right. As you guys leave the room, you're dismissed. You can put your exit tickets at the door and make your way to your next class. Thank you.